She has come out and made some comments that I think caught everybody that's an Indiana Fever fan by surprise. And already it seems the new coach is attracting potential superstars to the team.
Everyone is talking about Flau'Jae Johnson's remarks regarding Caitlin Clark, the new coach, and the Indiana Fever. Is she being strategic, or is this just random drama? It could be the start of something big in the WNBA. Let's look at the statistics, relationships, and behind-the-scenes actions that are upending women's basketball. Johnson has been dominating on the court this season, making headlines with every game, and her performance has been nothing short of stellar, with her unwavering drive and amazing skills taking center stage.
Let's talk about Flau'Jae Johnson. That's right, the LSU star. And in case you haven't noticed, through two games this season, she's absolutely killing it.
This is when the exciting part begins. In a shocking revelation that is rocking the WNBA, Johnson declared her love for Stephanie White and the Indiana Fever. This isn't just a passing remark. Can you believe it? The league is being rocked by Johnson's remarks.
But let me tell y'all, the Indiana Fever having Stephanie White as a head coach, I really like that. Like, I love that. I feel like she a player's coach. Like, I even remember when she was recruiting me at Vanderbilt, like, I was like, I like this lady. Like, I want to go play for her.
Play for her specifically, which is why this is so unexpected. These two have engaged in some fierce combat. Johnson attends LSU, and you know who else does? Despite this, Johnson's admiration for Clark is crystal clear. Her precise remarks, taken directly from her podcast, will surprise you, I promise.
She mentions the Chicago Sky, but it's the Indiana Fever that really got her attention because of Stephanie White and that hiring, and how much she thought of Stephanie White and the idea that she might want to play there with the Indiana Fever.
Johnson went beyond simply stating that she liked Clark to say, I think that is a good addition. She was really excited, and you could almost hear her smiling through the microphone. This wasn't a phony compliment or PR gimmick. Johnson seemed genuinely excited about the prospect of working with one of the most well-known figures in women's basketball. How could a coach like Stephanie White make that work? I mean, can you imagine? You would have a real big four at that point. And just when you think you've heard it all, Johnson goes one step further and begins complimenting Stephanie White, the head coach of the Indiana Fever. I don't really care to go with people you know where they already had ordered. No, I was trying to go where I like the people, and she was a good coach, like, you know what I'm saying? And I think I like this for the Indiana Fever, so next season I'm going to see. But I really think that is a good addition. Johnson isn't holding back when she says, I feel like she's a player's coach, which is huge coming from a player of Johnson's ability. She even acknowledged that if White had been at Vanderbilt earlier, it would have been a serious contender for her college choice. Did you notice that I desire to go to places with individuals I like? Fans are shocked, excited, and everything in between on social media as a result of Johnson's remarks, which reveal a completely different side of her. She is not only concerned with fame or statistics, but also with the bigger picture and how coaching styles and team dynamics fit into her vision for her WNBA career. Some are even calling Johnson a traitor to LSU. What does all of this mean for the WNBA, even as others are complimenting her for being progressive and open-minded? Johnson's remarks are more than just idle talk. They offer a glimpse into the league's possible future. Imagine a team with both Clark and Johnson in the lineup. With a coach like White leading the charge, who knows what kind of records they could break. The issue is that Kelsey Mitchell and occasionally Caitlin Clark would be in direct competition for the same position, but a good coach could figure out a way to get three really dynamic players into the game at the same time. This story is far from over, though, as Johnson's words have set the stage for what could be one of the most exciting WNBA seasons in recent memory. The question now is whether her actions will reflect her words and how her former teammates, especially Angel Reese, will respond to this apparent change of heart. There's no doubt that we'll be observing Johnson's every action going forward. Her admiration for Clark has everyone talking, but friction is simmering behind the scenes with her old LSU teammate Angel Reese. Would this rivalry, which now involves their families, simply add another level of complexity to all that is happening with Angel Reese? It is expected to have a significant impact on the WNBA, the Chicago Sky, and the Indiana Fever. Let's go back a little. Johnson and Reese were supposed to be LSU's dream team, leading the Tigers to victory, but behind the scenes, things were falling apart. We've heard about some serious drama between their mothers, and it's spilling onto the court. Can you believe it? This isn't just about the players. It's a full-on family feud, this continuous possibility feud, Angel Reese's mother and Flau'Jae. Johnson's parents have had a somewhat continuous disagreement, and many people think that Angel and Johnson don't get along. This is where things start to become heated. When Johnson's mother chose to make public information about Angel Reese's recent performance, the feud escalated from level 1 to level 10. According to reports, Angel Reese made her voting comment the other day, and someone brought up the fact that she only had a 1.7 GPA at LSU. Many people think that Johnson's mother was the one who made the comment. It's impossible to overlook the tension between Johnson and Reese, and it's becoming clear that her behavior is beginning to affect her teammates on the Chicago Sky. One insider said, "She's so self-centered that you have a potential ex-teammate of Angel Reese, and they don't seem to be getting along very well, and I wonder why that is all right." Regardless of what you see about Angel Reese on social media or elsewhere, there's a lot of so I believe that kind of portends disaster for the Chicago Sky in the future. Team sources claim that Johnson appears to be focused only on her own stats, rarely passing or helping, which is beginning to irritate those around her. This attitude is seen as detrimental to team dynamics and has led many to doubt her dedication to the group's success. That's how her game was last year while she was grabbing rebounds. We noticed that she had a real problem passing the ball to other players around the perimeter so they could shoot instead. They were just standing around because she kept trying to make and missed layups, which is something that teammates disliked. However, this story is far from over as Johnson and Reese's careers continue to develop. Will be attentively observed. The basketball community is waiting impatiently to see what happens in this thrilling LSU is being rocked by a feud. Johnson on the Indiana Fever, can you picture her former teammate playing beside Caitlin Clark during those Indiana Fever games against the Chicago Sky? Oh my goodness, that would be fascinating. It would Flau'Jae. The numbers indicate that Johnson could be crucial to changing the Indiana Fever strategy because she sees the wider picture and has the ability to have a significant impact. She has been teasing her future, igniting conversations about more than just joining Caitlin Clark. She is looking for a position that could take the team to new heights. The only thing that might happen is that she would end up playing as a sixth-man for the Indiana Fever, but you would still have a legitimate big four. When Clark needs a break, Johnson comes off the bench. It's a strategy that could keep the Fever's offense firing on all cylinders, even when the starters are resting. That's the kind of depth that wins championships, folks. But the point is, the Indiana Fever offense had a tendency to fall off when Caitlin Clark had to get a spell if Kelsey Mitchell had. To come out, if one of the two got hurt, you would have somebody that could come and play the position and give you real offense. Now you might be thinking, can Johnson really make that big of a difference? Well, let me tell you, the stats don't lie. We've been digging into the numbers, and Johnson's got exactly what the Fever needs. She's got the scoring touch, the hustle, and the basketball IQ to keep the offense humming. And in case you're wondering, that is interesting. We're talking about she averaged 15 points a game last year at LSU, but this year, it's not but 2 games, but she's got 24.5 points right now. All right, throw in, 6 rebounds. Still in a half, it's interesting. It is an interesting player to throw into the conversation, but here's the kicker. It's not just about Johnson's individual skills, it's how she fits into the Fever system. With Coach Stephanie White calling the shots, you better believe they're going to find ways to maximize Johnson's talents. A competent coach could figure out a way to get 3 incredibly dynamic players into the game at the same time. And let's not forget about the mismatches Johnson could cause coming off the bench as she would be facing the second unit. We're talking about inventive lineups that could give opposition coaches nightmares. Her intensity may be too much for defenders to handle. It's like releasing a secret weapon when the opposing team is least prepared. One thing we observed during last year's games was that whenever Caitlin Clark or Kelsey Mitchell left the court, the score would frequently come to a screeching halt. At times, she would be a potential weapon that might be used. Depending on who has the hot hand, this move could have a huge impact. With Johnson in the mix, the Fever would have a constant threat keeping the pressure on for all 4 quarters, so it could flow. Off the bench, or perhaps you move Kelsey Mitchell to the 6th-man position after a couple of years down the road. Based on what we're witnessing, it appears highly probable that Jay Johnson will be the Indiana Fever's hidden weapon. This is about unleashing a whole new level of potential for the squad, not just adding another player to the roster. Really, though, how do you not find out how to make that work to have Caitlin Clark? Johnson, Kelsey, Mitchell, Flau'Jae. If Johnson and the Fever can pull this off, we may be looking at a new model for success in the league, and other teams will be rushing to find their own 6th men. You need to figure out how to be able to do that while Aaliyah Boston and Lexi Hull are on the court at the same time. Then, wait to see how this could shake up the WNBA. Superstars basketball fanatics, get ready. If she gets selected in the WNBA draft, or perhaps not this year, but the following year, the WNBA landscape is going to get really intriguing. She has the potential to be the best college basketball player. All right. You may be considering this, Johnson, even though the Reese thing is just another basketball rivalry. Let me tell you that it's much more than that. We're talking about a drama that has the potential to transform women's basketball as we know it. Can you imagine how exciting those matchups will be when Reese is dressed for the Sky and Johnson takes the court for the Fever? The level of animosity amongst these former colleagues will be quite high because this is personal. According to WNBA insiders, this could be the next big thing in women's basketball. They predict that every time these two play, the arena will be packed, the TV ratings will be sky high, and social media will be buzzing. It's the kind of rivalry that could elevate the WNBA to a whole new level, but as far as attention goes, well, when those two play each other, a lot of people want to watch. You understand what I mean when I say that the rivalry between Caitlin Clark Scorch, the out of the Chicago Sky, and Angel Reese 3-0-12 and 12 on them would be extremely interesting. As messy as this drama might get, it might be just what the WNBA needs right now. We're talking about two young, charismatic players with a complicated past who are now competing on the biggest stage in women's basketball. That's the kind of story that draws people in, even if they are not die-hard basketball fans. Many people think that Angel and Johnson are not getting along, so would it just add another layer to everything that is happening between Angel, Reese of the Indiana Fever, and the Chicago Sky? Oh, it would be really fascinating. How might it proceed? Get ready, basketball fans. The WNBA is about to get wild as a result of Jay Johnson's move to the Fever. Teams will be frantically adjusting their strategies. Players will be watching as this all plays out, and coaches will be trying to figure out how to deal with this new dynamic. Johnson vs. Reese is a completely different game, and whether you support Johnson or Reese, one thing is certain: you won't want to miss a second of what's about to happen next. Can you believe how one player could completely transform the WNBA? Johnson's potential six-man role with the Fever is a game changer. She could keep their offense going even when the starters need a break. With Caitlin Clark on the same team, we're talking about a combination that could change the WNBA record book clock, but Big M will fire 3 points in any case.